Okay. And give me a second. I'm going to pull up the class. I had it up, but since I quick jumped off, let's see. Where did I say? I hope you're all doing super, super well, and I'm glad to see that you're all here. I do want to put a shout out for a couple of our members. I don't know how many of you, and I did talk to Robin. Barbara, I see Barbara's here. Barbara's one of her very, very good friends. So Robin and Rick are part of our group, and Rick had, I guess you would call it a heart attack last night and went through open heart surgery today. He made it through, and he's in intensive care. And I don't know, Barbara, if you have any other updates as of recent, but that's the last that I heard. So what I want to do is just, have us all kind of take a moment, not a heart attack. Okay, so I know he had a torn aorta, I think is what, yeah, torn aorta. Okay, so so if we can all just kind of say, take a few moments and just kind of just feel into Barbara and let's just send some beautiful healing energy. Robin said the more positivity, the better. They just did blood work and it's good. They will try to wake him. If it's good, they're going to try to wake him up. So that's really good. So if we could just take a moment and just tap into Rick and Robin in Chicago, send them some beautiful love and energy. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. Okay, so let me share my screen and let's just continue to keep them in our prayers as we go through our class in the next few days. It's going to be a long road of recovery for Rick. Okay, and opening the PowerPoint. So today's class, everyone, is number 110. So life, what's the point? And it sounds really ominous and really negative, but it's a really important thing to think about. So many people are like, oh my God, how do you even get through this? This is so difficult. And sometimes what we need are these reminders, these little reminders of what the point really is. What is all this stuff? Why are we here on the earth? And I'm not going to get into alchemy. I'm not going to get into those things, but I'm going to try to keep it a little more simple for you. And again, just bring it into those reminders, okay? So let me, before I go on, I just want to make sure I have the chat open. Here we go. Ready for us. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to type in the response bar. I just want you to think about it. And I want you to tell me, what are you doing here? What, in your idea, what are you doing here on Earth? Let's just see what people type. Put your responses down. What are you doing here? Okay, so one says learning. Good. Lindsay says soul growth. Learning lessons ourselves and providing lessons and support to others. Okay, nice. Charles, for me, it's gratitude and growth. I could talk a lot about what these two things mean to me. Gratitude and growth, awesome. And Barbara also says learning self-love and that we are connected. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Lot that we're learning. Kathleen says, hi Kathleen, says learning my lessons, teaching others, school. Okay, what else? It's a school, it's a place where we're learning about gratitude and growth. We're getting little pieces of the puzzle. I love that, Bella. She says, learning and collecting pieces of the puzzle to get closer to the full picture, being love. Hold on to that, Bella. There's a slide on that today. Lindsay, learning to trust myself. Right, Katie. And oh, Marissa. Hi, Katie and Marissa. So they're saying, remembering who I am. And Kathleen says experiences. Absolutely. These are all beautiful things that we're learning. And Barbara said, I'm stealing from Ram Dass, but what did she say? Walking each other home. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah, walking each other home. And that's actually really amazing, that piece. We're going to talk about that too. So I want you to keep with what we're thinking about with, okay, this is a big classroom for our soul. That's what we're doing here. That's kind of the point of all this. All that can get really complicated and it can get really muddy, and we tend to complicate so much. So I want us to get into an experience where we're just going to listen. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to connect in, and we're going to listen internally. And I just want to see what your answers are, if anything changes when we really listen. So everybody close your eyes. And everybody take a nice deep breath deep into the base of the belly. Breathe out nice and slow. One more deep breath. Really relax the lower belly. Blow up the belly nice and big. Breathe high into the lungs. Hold slightly. And then release the breath like you're blowing out a straw. Super slow. And when you get to the bottom of the breath, get all the air out. Push all the air out of your belly. And once all the air is out of the belly, just go to a nice, even breathing pattern, but don't open the eyes. Just start to pay attention to your breath for a minute. Feel the air breathing in and out. Feel the chest rise and fall. And what I want you to do is just feel your energy start to flow into the earth, connecting in through the perineum, through the bottoms of your feet, through your entire being, connecting in. And as you connect into the earth, open the top of the head as you drop your conscious thought away from the forehead, far away from the outside world. Go into that space in the center of your head, that room in the center of your head where you can connect in with Source. And as you connect in with Source, take all of your sight inside of you. Leave the outside world completely. Open the head even more. Now, in that space, imagine that you can breathe source energy into your body. So I want you to relax the belly again and take another deep breath in. And this time, imagine that you're breathing source energy into every part of your body. And as you release the breath, you release all the crap in the outside world. And allow yourself to imagine that there's a direct line of communication between you and Source. And in this direct line of communication, ask the question, why am I here? Don't go back in the head. Feel into it. Why are you here? And now type down any answers as you begin to come back. Come back and just see what kind of answers want to come from your higher self. What kind of answers want to come from your entire being. This is what my guides said. They said, because you chose to be here. And Barb says, to help others stand in pure sunshine and inner peace. Beautiful. What else? Anyone else? Chow said, mine said, because you want to be here, which surprised me. And that's what mine said too. I love that we got the exact same answer. Yeah. Charles said, to love and serve my wife, to share techniques to minimize pain and foster growth in others. Bella says, plant seeds of compassion. Beautiful. And we just got word from Robin. She said they just did blood work and it is good and they are going to try to wake him up. I think maybe, Barbara, that's what you said, but I read it wrong. Okay. So when we really tap in, okay, Katie says to emanate love. Yes, yes, feel into this. Anytime you start to question, what in the heck are we doing here? Get into that space because you're going to hear. It's going to be really obvious for you, like, oh, because I chose to get over feeling unworthy. There you go. So yes, whoever is strategic prevention solutions, exactly. Yeah, okay. So yes, they are going to wake up. Okay, thank you, Barbara. Lindsay says, love. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's keep going. We're going to try to bring all of this stuff that we're here doing, we're going to try to bring it into more simplicity for you, because sometimes we just need reminders. And this is something that Bella said, and it was, the simple task is we learn here, we're learning to become love, and that's it, to become love. Okay, not give it, not receive it, not expect it, not be upset if we don't get it, not shame others for not giving it to us, not shame ourselves because we're not worthy of it. We just came here to be love, because love is not an action you can't give and receive, what you already are. Okay, and we come here to give us, like, I want you guys to imagine this. Imagine that Earth is like this great big labyrinth, okay? Like a big test, and you have to go into this big labyrinth inside of caves and face all these dark tests, right? And you're gonna face the external dragon, and you're gonna face the landslide, and you're gonna face the room of scorpions and snakes, and then you're gonna face yourself. Okay, and it's at the end of facing all of these external challenges that eventually we face ourselves and say, oh my God, I judged you, and I was looking externally at all these things, fighting all these external demons. And you know what, honestly, the demons were here only because I thought that my attention was out there. All I am is inside of me. All I am is me, inside of me. I want to talk a little bit about us. Now, I'm reading this book, well, read this book, it's done. Now I got a couple more books that I'm reading, which are interesting, which I haven't been able to read for years. My guides wouldn't let me while I was reading my books. But I'm reading The Course in Miracles, which is wonderful. And I realized that The Course in Miracles, my guides have been teaching this to me my entire life. I'm like, oh, this is like almost verbatim what you've been teaching me. So then, the other one is a really neat one. This one is called The Collective Works of the Wingmakers. So the Wingmakers, you guys should look that up. It's really fascinating. But I want to point out the Disappearance of the Universe, which had some interesting concepts in it. And this is not to convince you, it's more to say what resonates. They said, this is something my guides have also always said. They said, you decided that you were separate, that you needed to be independent and find your identity, and you are separate from, you can call it God or source or whatever it is you want to call it, okay? Oneness, you were separate from that, okay? So because you decided you were separate, all of a sudden you were catapulted into dream world. Now, this is something that I don't I don't like the way that it was written in the Disappearance of the Universe. They said that it's like, well, God didn't create this abomination called Earth. Your mind did this. And I'm like, okay, well, that's probably true. But when I asked my guides about it and really listen in, they said this is a natural stage of soul development. It's like, imagine that God, if you want to call it that, okay, whatever your definition of God is, okay, God fractaled, basically had little spirit babies, okay, fractaled into, let's say, 1 billion different parts, all right, or billions of different parts. And all of a sudden they're like, ah, look, all of these little babies fractaling, okay, responding to each other, all one with I'm gonna use the word God, guys, just because it's easier for me, you know. So all one with God or source, okay, and then all of a sudden little points of light start to evolve and change, and it's kind of like growing up and going through the terrible twos. Your soul went through your twos. That's what you're doing. It's kind of like, I'm not like you, Mom, Dad. I'm not listening to you anymore. You're a big dummy head, and I'm gonna be on my own now. You're dumb. Okay, so you basically, your soul is like, okay, I'm ready to find this separateness only because I eventually need to find my way back. Okay, it's kind of like the prodigal son, all right, if you're into any of that. So basically imagine that all of a sudden you know, God fractals, creates these little soul babies, okay, soul babies evolve, and eventually they get into their terrible twos, catapulting them into this consciousness. Now, because, and this is something even science is explaining or helping people to understand, it's called the entanglement theory. The entanglement theory is that all of our biophotons, which we break down into, can communicate to each other, okay? Because we were once entangled as one. We were once entangled as a little group, a little billions of little soul babies, okay? Fractaled from God. Okay, so here's the entanglement. They were connected, and then as souls are ready, they go into this dream world. And as more come in, they come in. Okay, and so we've got all these different of ages here on Earth, you know, but most of them are about 90% are baby, infant, and young. Okay, and you know, of course, there are older souls who are past that part, but they come back and they're here to help everybody. Okay, everybody, keep coming, keep advancing, keep growing. You got this. You can do it. Come on. Keep evolving, good, woohoo! You're gonna get out of this dream, you're gonna do it. But it's not easy. It's just not easy. We get here, and if it were easy, guys, I just said this to my last client, you'd figure this out in a lifetime. You'd be like, huh, this is stupid. I got an ego and I don't love myself. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm out of here. Okay, no, it's not easy. This is so hard when we catapult into this dream world, which is very biological, it's very tangible, it's very real, okay? But we're here, our soul is having this experience through the body, and it's like, oh my God, this is hard. It's hard to get out of this labyrinth. It's hard to actually realize your love. It's hard to beat the ego. The ego is an ego beast. I call it a beast for a reason, because it just wants to keep you stuck. It's like, oh, you're less than, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not successful enough. Oh, you can't manifest money, yeah. Oh, booger. Oh, ego is a booger. It's a little nasty thing, okay? But it's part of what we chose to come here to go through, all right? So here we go. The theory in this book, in The Disappearance of the Universe, I'm going to share with you because it's interesting. They said, because you chose to find your independence, almost like a rebellious little child, okay? You've got this subconscious guilt by separating from source. And then you have to work, all of this subconscious guilt is manifesting itself in all of this ego and all of this looking for love outside of yourself because you're guilty because you didn't, you know, stay with source. Take that any way you want to, okay? I'm just sharing the theory. What I know here, what I know that we need to pay attention to is this. You know what? We came here for a task. We know this is a big classroom for our soul. We know this. Okay, we know we came here to try to go through lessons, and all of the lessons just keep getting a little more difficult and a little more difficult. And they teach us about different stages of our growth. You're going to go from being tumultuous to needing to be normal to being egoic and manipulative and narcissistic and controlling to moving into, hey, wait a minute. I like money, but it doesn't define me. And hey, wait a minute. I'm worth more than what I do. It doesn't matter what I do. I can go live in the forest and not succeed at anything and be in pure love. And I did it. You know, I can be amongst anyone on this earth and still find my joy no matter what they do to me. I'm not a victim. I control my happiness, no one else. Yeah, this is a big classroom to learn this. Okay. But unfortunately, guys, when we're here, we really have to remember, you can't see the forest through the trees. And we forget all this. We forget that we are just amazing. And we're powerful and we are strong. And we get stuck amongst the trees and the foliage. And we're stuck forgetting money and career and boyfriends and girlfriends and wives and babies and husbands and friends and family and blah. You know, we're just swatting away all the bugs, you know, forgetting that there's above the canopy, there's pure sunshine. We can't see that we're stuck in our own misery and we're creating it. We keep forgetting that we don't have to. I'm going to give you some hints on how to move through this a little easier. Okay. What we do is we allow ourselves to get sucked into this vacuum, okay, of hurt and wounding. And all the time that we stay in our heads right here and we project out into our world and we think about all the hurt and we create these stories and we don't take the time to deep breathe and we don't take the time to meditate. We don't take the time to do good things and rejuvenate ourselves and eat well and get good sleep. The more that we take that don't take that time, the further we're sucked into the vacuum. And we forget even more and even more and even more that it's really quite easy. Okay, so I'm going to give you the easy. We forgot that you can get out. We forgot that you have all the power to get out of this. Okay, and I know if you're not ready to move through your lessons, you're not ready to move through your lessons. I get it. Okay, but we can make it easier on ourselves. When I listen to what my guides say, and even when I listen to what the Dream Maker book says, or if I listen to what the Course in Miracles say, or if I listen to what's in the Disappearance of the Universe, okay? If I listen to Esther Hicks, if I listen to, you know, it doesn't even, Wayne Dyer, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing all the time. You just got to do the work. You just have to move through these lessons and not take life so effing seriously. Look at it for what it is. See it. See the forest through the trees. Okay? All of this work that we're doing leads you into unconditional love. And it's so interesting. I think my client might be on, I'm not sure, but the client that I was working with right before this said this really interesting thing. You know, she's like, said something to the point of, oh, did I waste all this time judging myself? There isn't any waste of time. That is a perfect use of time. And what her guides came through and said was beautiful. They said, oh my God, you got to consider this. All the time that you took judging yourself was leading you into unconditional love. And she's like, wait, so I had to hate myself to love myself? Yes. Yes, you did. Yes. And I will tell you, the stronger that we hate ourselves, the more we're going to move into stronger love. Okay. A lot of times I tell people, you're going to fall as high as you're going to go. Okay. That's physics. That's balance. Right. So we get into some deep, deep, deep pain, which means when we come through it, we're going to be in that much incredible love. Right. All of this experience teaching you that you are love will lead you to unconditional love. So it's all about this. You just got to stop. Turn off the vacuum. See your mind. See what it does. See all the pain. Don't keep yourself blindfolded. See the pain inside of you. See the wounding. See your patterns. Be willing to look. And again, look at your stories. How serious are you taking this life? Are you thinking that your successes are defining your worth and value? There's one thing I want to tell you. Everyone's worth and value, not to, to slight anyone, but I'm sorry, everyone's worth and value is pretty much the same. You are a beautiful, radiant, loving, kind, innocent, non-important being. Ta-da! Worth and value, worth and value. And if you're worried about, well, I don't have that house, and that's not where I wanted to be at this point in my life. I wanted to have this much in retirement, and I wanted to have 5 kids by now, and I wanted to have this, and I wanted to lose 20 pounds by now, and I haven't. For who? For what? So you can impress someone outside of you? There's no one really to impress, because it's not about that. The only thing you're going to take with you when you die, okay, you're not even going to take those pounds with you. I'm sorry. Not taking your money. You're not going to take your success. You're not going to get to the pearly gates and they're going to be like, oh, you did not make CEO at this time. Really? You said you wanted to be an herbalist and you're not? I'm sorry. No, we don't even like you anymore. No, they're not going to do that. Of course not. Okay. What are you going to take with? Your growth. That's it. Your growth. Okay. And if you think that all that you're here to do is to give to others, but you don't grow inside because you've thrown yourself under the bus all those years, not taking care of yourself, taking care of everybody else around you, guess what? You're missing the boat because you're not growing. You're helping other people grow, but you're not growing. There is a very simple process. This is the simple process, okay? You have to go through acknowledgement, compassion, forgiveness, believe in unconditional love, and experience it, and reconnect. I'm going to show you some things. Acknowledgement is this. Just have the willingness. Have the courage to really look. And this is huge. I have been using this example with people, so I finally made a slide of it, okay? You have to own your pain. In workshops, I'll actually have people create a poster of everything they hate about themselves. They create a whole poster of everything they hate about themselves. And then I have them own it. Love your pain, okay? Don't regret it. Let me show you something. Here is Kelly Schwegel. This is my placard that I made for myself. Do you like it? Isn't that pretty? It says Kelly Schwegel, Miss Needy, Drama Queen, Victim, Impossibly Insecure, and Big Bad Baddie. Yeah, that's mine. And I'm so proud of it. I am so proud that this is who I was. There was a time when it was so hard for me to admit that I was needy, that I was clingy and desperate for love and affection, and I just need, okay? Or admit that I was the biggest drama queen ever, who created scenarios so that I didn't have to look at my own shit. Who was such a victim to her illnesses that anyone who came around, I would tell them all about it. Or I was so insecure, I would hide in a bathroom and have to breathe when I was in public. Or that I thought that I was a big bad baddie because I had a temper and I got a divorce. And yeah, I had sex before marriage. I sure did. Okay. If you can't do this, I want you to think about this. If I looked at the piece of, let's use Miss Needy because Miss Needy is at the top of my proud list, okay? She was also the one that I was most ashamed of. I called her desperate and pathetic. If I rejected that part of me, how do you move into unconditional love? You can't love, you're not in love if there's something about you you reject or you're ashamed of or you regret. What? Miss Needy helped me grow. Miss Needy made me me. Miss Drama Queen did, Miss Victim did, Miss Impossibly Insecure, and of course that Big Bad Baddie. Because Big Bad Baddie taught me to forgive, right? And then I had to forgive Miss Needy, the Drama Queen, the Victim, and the Impossibly Insecure for being human, right? What does your placard say? Come on, guys. I want you to own it. I had a client once, and she she made a placard of herself, and she said, "I'm a slut. I am Miss Slut." Yep. And we knew exactly why she did. It gave her love and attention. So she slept with everything she could in the most disgusting of ways, according to her. Okay. So she had to own that part of her and had to understand, why did that come into you? Why did I become Miss Needy, Drama Queen, Victim, and Possibly Insecure, Big Bad Baddie? How did I become that? I know exactly how I became that. And I don't judge it, and I don't regret it. So what is your worst of the worst? Give me your worst. Tap it down. I'm waiting. Not moving from this slide until I see them. What do you own? And it doesn't have to be you now. These aren't me now. Those are the me's from the past. You gotta own it. Nobody. Nope. Are y'all there? Am I alone? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so they're starting to come through. Here we go. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm going to start to read some of these. Lindsay says, "Miss, take more than I give." Ooh, Barbara says self-loathing. Kathleen says frozen, insecure, numbnut. Barbara says shy. Rachel says poor sick me. Yeah, perfect. Hi, Rachel. And Barbara says unlovable. Yeah, yeah. You know what? And Charles says I want to be accepted and loved. To the point, LOL, to your comments, to the point that I listen to what others tell me is wrong with me. Exactly. Marissa says judgmental. Chow says too cool to care, even though I do. I love you. It's so great. Exactly. Okay, when we can own that we do these things and we're like, yes, I do that, and here's why. Bella says overly sensitive, hypocrite, something is wrong with me. Okay, right? Oh, I could also add psycho. And actually, I think the word that somebody else used for me was whack job. Yeah, I had to own that one because I was so terrified for so many years that I was crazy. Okay. So I'm a big cray cray. We'll add cray cray to my list. Okay. And you know, it is about saying I am not going to judge these things because I know how they made me. They made me me. Right? I don't reject any part of me because I did not come here to be in peace. I came here to grow. Okay. So once we get into acknowledgement, we can acknowledge what was there. We can see it. I'm not doubting it. And I'm going to pull these little me's up and I'm going to love Miss Needy. And it was hard. And I'm going to love Little Pathetic. And it was hard. Okay? But you have to. Then you start to have compassion for the human condition. We came here on earth to get into all these things that we judge ourselves for. Okay, and no one is free of it. Not one person. Okay, so none of us are free of the human condition. We're all in our little pain and wounding. So what do we have to do? We have to have compassion that we came here. And this life is so hard to find unconditional love that we have to go through lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime to get it. It's kind of like this. Are you unconditionally loving now? No? Oh, keep trying. We'll give you another life. Oh, wah, wah, wah. Life is over. Boing, it's okay. You're back. Welcome back to the game. And you go through again. Oh, you don't love yourself again? You're judging yourself? Okay. Oh, you're getting further in the game. You turned into a narcissist. Nice job. Okay. All right. Oh, but you're still not unconditionally loving. It's okay. Wah, wah, wah. Life over. It's okay. You're back. Did you get it yet? Okay. How long do you want to play the game? Kathleen says, but don't parents unconditionally love their kids? No. No. I want to tell you something. Do I unconditionally love my daughter? I try, but I'm human and there's still conditions that come in. There's still times I'm like, oh, honey, da da da. And she's like, Mom. All right. Okay. We're human. And here's the thing. We look at parents and we're always in this place of saying, well, shouldn't my parent, they're the parent, they should know better. They should have been better for me. No, they're not. They're conditioned just like everybody else. You guys, how old is the worst that you can think of on this planet? Okay. How old is that person? Most likely they're old. Okay. How old was Hitler? I shouldn't say that, I'm in Germany. Okay, anyway, how old was, how old were some of these big bad baddies? Okay, it doesn't matter. Conditioning is conditioning. When you are conditioned with your own pain and wounding, you cannot unconditionally love. And we're going to go through what unconditional love actually means. Because when we can learn to have compassion for the human experience, we're going to be in a completely different place. So I want you guys to think of this. I want all of you to think of the person who hurt you the most. I want you to think of the worst person right now that you can imagine. That person who is just, you just can't forgive them, or you can forgive them, but you still don't like them. Okay, I want you to think of the worst person you can imagine, or maybe it's some big historical figure. I don't care who you think of it, think of it. And I want you to think about this. How did it get that way? How did they get that way? Were they born that way? Of course they weren't. Now, we can come in with conditioning from our past lives. I had some I had to work through in this lifetime. All right. But most of it is experiences in this lifetime. Usually we're just bringing in past karma that we're going to work with in this lifetime, because sometimes we'll start karma in one lifetime and finish it in others, right? So you have to look at other people, the worst bad baddie, okay, and think about, how did they become that way? They were conditioned just like you. And guess what? Some people's conditioning is just uglier than others, okay? You have to start to have compassion for everything that you have been through and everything they have been through. And I don't care if they're your great-great-grandmother, they were still conditioned too. And I've known 80-year-olds who have more conditioning sometimes than a 3-year-old. Okay? The more conditioning you have, the harder this world is. The less you deal with it, the harder this world is. Okay? The challenges get bigger. All right. So I want you to think about that compassion, that we're all going through it. Guys, I think I've said this to you before, that I've worked with attempted murderers, I've worked with pedophiles, I've worked with people who have done egregious acts, I've worked with porn addicts, I have worked with people who lie, cheat, steal, people who've stolen, embezzled from their companies, people who threw their investors under the bus. And I love them. I love as much as I love everyone else. I don't have the right to judge. Everyone is conditioned. It's just that some conditioning is uglier than others. So that leads us into this whole piece of forgiveness then. All right. And let's just get that reminder. You did not come here to do everything right. Okay. If you did, you would have stayed where you were. You did not come here to be in peace. If you were, you would have stayed where you were. You, my friends, my beautiful friends, have been and will be the deliverer of other people's pain, hurt, and wounding. Sorry to burst your bubble if you think that you wouldn't. Of course you are. And others have been the deliverer of your hurt and your pain and your wounding. Okay? We program each other as to how to show up. I want to remind you guys of that little blue mist that I saw. That blue mist where I was working with a gentleman and left the space I was in and all of a sudden was in the universe and, was seeing this beautiful misty blue cloud and all these points of light and I was watching them move in perfect synchronicity together, and they'd take big dips and sometimes there were little ones, but always in sync together. And I was told that this little point of light right here, that's you. And this is all of the people on earth. These are all the little fractals of Source who chose to incarnate together in a dream that we're connected to because of the entanglement theory. Our biophotons can communicate with each other. I don't care how far across the planet you are. Still communicating. So we're creating perfect synchronicity, and we draw to us in this amazing, amazing, complex, multivariable experience. We draw to us what we need for our highest and greatest growth. Always. There are 7 different ways in which people, circumstances, and situations will show up to help you to learn and grow, even when it's awful. And people will show up to deliver your pain until you realize they can't pain you, until you realize that you are the one in charge of whether you're happy or not. You get to maintain your joyfulness, your playfulness, and your innocence no matter what. You are in control when you don't give everything outside of you all of the control. Guys, we're just all programmed, all of us. We're all hurt, we're all wounded, okay? We're all stuck with emotion, right? And all of that emotion causes need inside of us, and all that need causes behavior, and we're whacking each other with our needs and behaviors and emotions all the time, delivering perfect lessons, right? So, acknowledge, have compassion, forgive yourself for being programmed, forgive others for being programmed. And all that's going to move you into pure, unconditional love. This means that when there is someone who comes up on the news who is a murderer or a pedophile or a tyrant or a narcissist or some kind of a bad abuser or a cheater or a liar or a thief or a betrayer, an abandoner, or unkind and hurtful people, everyone is just in their own pain. And some of their conditioning is harder and uglier than others. That's it. Unconditional love means that no matter what people have done, they are deserving of love and forgiveness. And I have had people who have said, not that person. Yeah, that's the one you need to learn to love more. That is unconditional love. That is hard when you have all your focus outside of you. Now, let's talk about how to make all this easier, okay? The last step I put in here was called a reconnection with your true soul source, or source self, okay? It's you're really recognizing I'm just a soul having a human experience. You totally get it. You totally accept it. And you realize that you're perfect, pure, and innocent, even in your failings. And of course, for every moment that you're human, you're going to screw up again and again and again. There are still times. I was on the phone with someone the other day, a client, and I said, "Wow, what a jerk." And I was like, "Oh, that was really judgmental." And she laughed. She's like, "Oh, you mean you're human?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm human." Okay, we're going to come up with things. It's just, and we're going to do things that are stupid and very human. But you know what? We're going to recover pretty quickly. It's how quickly you recover. It's not that you never do it. You're perfect, you're pure, you're innocent, and you're going to realize you're still one with source. You're still one with Source. So here's the thing, guys. As you're going through all of this experience, okay? Let's simplify this process. As you're going through acknowledging your pain and your hurt, you're looking at why you're insecure or why you're self-doubting or all these things. While you're creating your little placard of, hi, I'm Miss Needy and Miss Big Bad Baddie, okay? While you're getting into compassion for yourself and others, while you're forgiving yourself and others and going through that process of learning unconditional love, connect. Just connect. Just connect into your higher self. I don't care if it's 1 minute a day. You can take 1 minute a day and remember who you really are. Just connect. Let the light in. If you believe in God, say, God, be with me. If you believe in your higher self, say, believe, be with me. If you just believe in love, then believe in love and bring in love. If you just want to call it Source, call it Source. Connect with it. Reconnect. And if you can do that every day, this process is going to go faster. It's going to be less painful. The more you remember who you are and what you're doing here, the less you're going to get stuck in the vacuum. Okay? The easier it's going to be. So, ask yourself this. Every moment of every day, who do you really want to play with? Seriously, who do you want to play with? Your ego? Okay, who wants to project outside of you and keep you sad and lonely and feeling like you're 3 years old again? Is that who you want to play with? Or do you choose to play with your higher self? Source, God, Spirit. Who do you want to play with? Every day, make that decision. Every day, reconnect. It is going to make it so much better. Even when you're in pain. When I heard about our friend Rick this morning, I was in tears. In tears. And as I'm having lunch today, I tapped into his wife, Robin, and I felt her pain and I was in tears. And when he started to wake up, because I connected to him, I felt the heart pain. I described to Robin where it was. And she said, yeah, that's exactly where it was. And I'm like, yeah, I felt it. It felt like somebody took a pliers and pinched me. But as I'm feeling these things, I just kept going, okay, connect, connect, connect. It's okay, connect. And everything is fine. Okay? We can get through hard moments of emotion, anxiety, stress, pain, sadness, depression, judgment, if we just connect. So, I would like to take you into a meditation, my dear friends. But before I do, comments or questions? Okay, I'll see if anybody's typing. I'll answer those afterwards. But let's get into, I want to connect you with who you authentically are. So we're going to get you into the pineal, because that's where you got to be to connect with your higher self and God and Source and Spirit. Okay? And we're going to go through the door. So I want you all to close your eyes. And I want you to take a nice, deep breath, deep into the base of the belly. And as you breathe deep, let all of this beautiful light in. And as you breathe out any human suffering you've been going through, because it's here. We're human. But we can giggle at it. It's just a human condition. Take one more breath in, connecting yourself also into the earth as you're breathing in. Again, breathing out any pain, any stress. And then go to an even breathing pattern. And take your conscious thought and let it drift backward into that room in the center of your head. And as you drift backward into the room in the center of your head, open up the top of the head And we're going to bring in this wonderful, pure white light. And let that pure white light saturate the brain. Let it quiet your mind. Let it soothe your thoughts. Let it flow into the forehead and the eyebrows and the eyes, and let everything soften. Letting it flow so gently into the face. Letting all the muscles in the head surrender. Let the jaw go, let the tongue go, let the throat muscles go. Feel this beautiful white light floating like a beautiful white cloud down the back of the neck muscles, letting them just surrender, easing any tension. Let it flow into the shoulders and the chest. White cloud, beautiful light, purifying white. Let it open the heart and open the chest as it flows like a beautiful white fog down into each and every fingertip. Feel it relaxing everything. Let that white light flow down into the stomach, filling all the organs, all the glands, releasing any darkness, any heaviness, any tension. Letting it flow down the back, down the spine. Letting it flow into low back, low spine. Letting it continue to flow down into the intestines, large and small. Flowing down, white light, tailbone, buttocks, reproductive organs, bladder, hips, all filled with white. Feel the whole body light and floating. Let it flow down into the thighs and the knees, calves and shins, ankles, feet, and toes. And then what I want you to do is imagine that you're standing in the most beautiful place in nature. The most beautiful place. This is your place. You created whatever you want it to look like. Do you feel the warmth of the sun? Do you hear the waves or a waterfall or trickling water? Do you see a starry night? What is your vision? Create it. And in that space, feel the chest opening in joy. Feel yourself able to be the innocence that you authentically are. And then notice that to the left of you is a door. I want you to walk toward that door. On the other side of that door is your higher self. Your higher self. Who you are when you're not in this body. I want you to open that door. And as you walk through that door, I want you to shed your pain and your human conditioning and all of your misery and all of your sorrow and walk into the beauty of that light beyond the door. As you get into that door, let that door shut behind you and feel that heaviness on the other side of the door. Don't pick that up again. And take a moment and feel who you authentically are. Feel into your light. And as you are sensing who you authentically are, invite your guides or spirit to give you a message. And you may hear one if you need one, and if you don't need one at this point. Just listen inside of you. Don't look outside of you. And then when you're ready, don't go back through that door. Make a conscious choice to leave all that heaviness, to remember as you open your eyes who you are. Make a conscious choice to live as a soul having a human experience, not a human who happens to have a soul. And I am going to sign off and leave you there. So if you want to stay in meditation, you can. I have a client I need to get to. And I also want to check in with Robin and Rick. So please send them love and support. And have a wonderful weekend.